Yes, it's your boy Wayne from Things on Wheels. In this episode, we're going to crack on with the suspension. Let's get it. Bosh. Right, straight away, let's get into it. Let's get these wheel nuts off pronto. Now we're going to speed a lot of this up because we don't want to bore you just undoing nuts and bolts. So next we need to jack up the vehicle. Make sure you use the appropriate axle stands and don't use the Widowmaker jack just to hold the vehicle up because you will die. You've been warned. Now on the Z4, you need to jack under the diff area. Central. Quickly remove these wheel bolts. No playing. Sometimes all you need is a sharp shove to get the wheel off. And there we have it. Here we can see the broken trailing arm. Quite a thick piece of metal, and this got destroyed. We need to remove the brake line, the ABS sensor wires, and the brake pad wear sensor cable. As you can see, it's been sliced straight through. What a mess. Anyway, let's get it. Not too sure about this shock absorber, but we're going to test it, and if it needs replacing, we'll do so. Everything else looks fine though, nice and solid, no bent metal. Wheel arch lining seen better days, but we'll sort that out, no problem. Anyway, we'll get around to sorting all this bodywork, pulling a little dent out there, and treating any rust that we see. Look at this flakiness. Can't have it. Anyway, this caliper needs to be removed, so we got to get this cable out of the way and move on to the next. Couple of Allen bolts at the back and a metal clip at the front that retains the brake pads and stops them from vibrating. Little flat blade make light work of that. And now we lever the caliper off, only friction holding the pads to the disc. And it's off. Hurrah. It's always wise to string up the caliper so it doesn't put strain on the hydraulic line. We don't want no leaks. So the disc needs to come off, but this is held in place by the caliper bracket on the left and also a grub screw at the front. I'll remove the screw quickly now. Now the rear shock absorber needs to be removed. Simple, you'd think. Not quite. The whole thing's trying to pivot, so we're gonna have to improvise. I got this long bar, wedged it in, and it stopped it from moving. Job's a good one. Brute force. First of the long bolts. Onto the drive shaft bolts. We need to wedge a screwdriver between the brake disc and the caliper bracket. This will stop the whole assembly from rotating. Then we can undo each screw simultaneously, repeating the process. Check it out. Like I said before, we're not going to bore you with the process of the whole 6 bolts. Just a few will do. Get the picture. Get the message. Check it. Now we need to remove this bottom bolt, captive nut on the other side. But before we do that, we need to remove this under tray. Loads of 8mm bolts. Pain in the backside, especially when you're lying on your back. This bolt isn't even holding anything. As you can see, the aluminium around it is corroded. We're gonna have to put a washer back on there when we refit. Long process, so many bolts. Say hello to my little friend. Her name's Zena. Getting involved. Anyway, we need to undo this bolt now we have access. I'm gonna slap a wheel brace on there just to get a bit of extra leverage. That's how we do it. Go on, lad. And it's off. Unwinding, unloading. Check the length of this bolt. Long ting. Now here we have the anti-roll bar link, or what's left of it, clearly smashed in half. We'll have to replace it. Still, one less bolt for me to undo, eh? This is the headlight level sensor, so it's connected to the upper arm. When you go over bumps, the headlights will follow. We need to get rid of this, otherwise it's gonna snag when we take it off. Onto the caliper bracket bolts. Top one's tight. Bottom one, not so much. And once these are out, we can remove the disc. Simple. Here's the handbrake mechanism. These pads will push out on the disc, stopping the car from moving. Quick explanation. Here's the connectors for the ABS sensor and the brake pad wear sensor. These need to be untangled and pulled through the old arm. That looks like it's gonna be tricky. We need to release the upper arm. We're gonna counter hold the nut with a spanner and use a breaker bar to undo it. Once we've done that, we should get some movement of the assembly away from the rest of the car. Fast hands make light work. I wish I could work this quickly in real time. A long day, another long bolt. This brake line needs to be undone, otherwise it's gonna snag when we try to pull everything out. Only a little 10mm bolt holding it in though, so this is light work. Check it out. Once again, put the bolt back in, then you won't lose it. We've got two of these clips that we need to turn 90 degrees to release them. Then the handbrake pads can come out. Here's the connection for the handbrake cable. We need to pull that to the side. And that's the handbrake cable itself. Gonna give it a wobble to see how much access we got and how much further we got to pull it out. Can't forget about the spring. Once that's out, we got a little bit more room to work with. Now this is held in by friction, but this looks pretty seized. Think we're gonna have an issue here. It's not even like I've got space to get a tool in. We'll have to improvise somehow. This is gonna give me a headache. Let's see. Moving up, you can see the cable's been chafed. We're not gonna try and fix this, we're gonna replace it. No point messing. Brute force underneath the car, trying to chop it with some snips. Grr, look at the expression on my face. Oh my gosh. Frustrating, so we're gonna get the hacksaw on it. Chop, chop. That'll weaken it a bit. To be fair, I'd be surprised if it went through easy. This is a handbrake cable after all. Everything undone, we can pull the whole assembly out the way. Now the brake line's long enough for me to leave the caliper on the floor. Don't like the state of that, so we're gonna sort that out at some point. The remaining part of the trailing arm, look at the state of it. 3 bolts hold this in, let's hope they're not a pain to take out. And it's out. Any surface rust will be getting treated before reassembly. We'll also need to bend this corner back slightly as it took a slight knock. Nothing major. to it, you can see the other half of the anti-roll bar link. Clean brake. Little 10mm bolt holding the headlight level sensor in. And then this arm can come out. Time lapse. Another tight one on the top arm. We need to bring out the breaker. Counter holding with another spanner. And we're off. Loads of surface rust on the subframe. Nothing to worry about though, this is a thick piece of metal. However, I'm gonna clean it up, treat it, and then top coat it. Protection. Now I've used this for years, rust inhibitor. This will stop the rust progressing. You paint it on, let it dry, and then you can top coat after a few hours. Oh yes, top job that. Also did these other bits. Now, top coat. So we've used some good old Hammerite for the protection. This should last years to come. We'll try to get everywhere we can.
It's party time! Represent. Stand up.
Managed to pick up a whole suspension assembly, and now we got to maneuver it into place.
Move your waistline.
That's the drive shaft in place. Jack it up. One time. Now the trailing arm can be bolted back in place.
Represent.
Reversal with removal.
Move your waistline.
Now I'm not going to torque these bolts up because the car still needs to go for an alignment.
Stand up.
It's all coming together. Anyway, let me show you a little something about alignment. Check it out.
Oh, you gon' learn today.
Now the model you see before you shows a car with no alignment. Everything's perfectly straight. Now imagine you're looking at the rear end of the vehicle here. This is called a toe in. The leading edge of the wheels are pointing inwards. This is toe out. The leading edge of the wheels are pointing outwards. Now as our car has taken a knock, the alignment's going to be all out of shape. We need to get this seen to at a local tyre shop. Here we have negative camber. The top of the wheels are pointing inwards. And this is positive camber. The top of the wheels are pointing outwards. Now, if you're into your modified cars, you probably would have noticed a few cars using negative camber. This can aid with fitting oversized wheels and attaining that perfect stance. Check it. Anyway, that just about wraps this one up. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bless.